I'm Jeff Pospisil, the 10-Minute Treasurer with practical advice for improving your church's financial future. In this video, I'm going to be working through the church trustees. One of their duties is the caring for the property. And this might seem self-evident for some, but I'm going to give a couple practical tips for how you can improve on how you do this. And a lot of what I've learned, it's from seeing some excellent trustees as well as seeing some big mistakes. So pretty much every church has a property they worship and use. And even if you rent it, that's still a property that you should do an annual inspection of, and I don't know what else to call it, but some kind of a time when you go with the purpose of walking around the whole property and inside every room of the property to look for things that are a concern, things that need to be addressed or need to be monitored, or maybe we need to ask more questions about. So you're just trying to get a list of all those things that probably have to be looked at. And then the other property that many churches have is a parsonage. And sadly, way too many churches, they prepare the parsonage for the new pastor, and then the next time they walk in it is when the pastor's getting ready to leave. And if you do that, you're setting yourself up for probably problems. I mean, many times a pastor puts up with stuff that, if they would have told the trustees would have fixed it like that, but they put up with it and made their life a little bit more difficult. Or I've had several cases where the pastor was doing something they probably shouldn't have been doing. They weren't caring for the property well. Anyway, if you do an annual walkthrough with the chair of your staff pastor relations committee, that will save you a lot of problems, and it'll probably make your pastor happier because the property will be better maintained. And so if your pastor's married, go with your pastor and their spouse, or if the pastor's single, just the pastor, and have them show you the stuff that they would like addressed, or at least to like considered, and then you also walk around the entire outside, walk through the rooms, again, respecting privacy. You don't have to check their drawers and closets and everything, but you look with a critical eye for things that probably need to be addressed. So, by the way, this happens to be our parsonage and church building in Linton, South Dakota. So, so I'm going to strongly recommend also that you include more people than just your trustees committee when you do the inspection. And also keep in mind this, you are a steward of this property for Jesus Christ. So you are going to want to make sure that things are useful to the ministry, that they are pleasant and inviting. So keep that in mind. Again, here's our Linton church where over the years, this was a steel building, so it really didn't stand out much. But over the last few years, they added that cross and flame. They added this electronic sign with this beautiful brickwork. They're adding a bell tower. And so all of a sudden it looks more inviting. Um, this is kind of stereotypical again, but men often don't look at the bathrooms, but chances are women will. And you want a clean bathroom, you want it to be in good shape, you want it to be inviting, because guess what? That might be the difference between somebody um, coming back to your church a second time. Talk to the people that work in the youth area, talk to the people that work in the nursery, talk to the people that work in the kitchen, talk to the pastor, the people that use these spaces. Is there anything that's making it difficult to ministry? Are there things that are common complaints? Let's go ahead and get those ideas out, and so that way we can talk about them and address them. And hopefully the result is, and I encourage you strongly to keep an actual written list, whether it's on a spreadsheet or on a piece of paper, a list that describes what needs to be done. How high of a priority is it? What do you think the cost will be? What's the due date? When does it need to be done? Maybe if somebody needs to be in charge of it, assign that. But Dan Peel, who was the trustee for the Mitchell Christian School, he was the one that opened my eyes to this. And he was one of the best because he had this list and it was prioritized. And so then you can eliminate some of the squeaky wheels, but you could also see your progress throughout the year as you're checking stuff off. And some of the stuff you might not have funds for, and if it's not a high priority, kick it off to next year. That's fine too, but at least it's on there. And so you can address those squeaky wheels and say, hey, you don't, we need to address these things first, and then we can get to you. So it's a great tool then to plan your work. The last thing I wanted to talk about in terms of caring for the property is the idea of having a facility use policy. I didn't really have a good picture, but I thought, you need something written in stone is what my mind was thinking. Because it seems like in a church, almost everybody, especially the longtime members, feel like they own the church property. It feels like they are entitled to use it whenever they want, however they want. So it's nice to have an idea of, okay, if you want to use the church property besides a regular Bible study or something like that, besides regular programming, here's who you have to talk to. Here's who you need to get permission from. Here's the expectation of what we will and won't do and what's expected of you in terms of cleanup and that kind of stuff. So it's nice to have a policy like that. I did steal one from one of our local churches that could use as a template for you if you want to develop one. But that'll help you care for the property as well as stop the complaints and conflict around that issue. All right, I hope this is a blessing for you. And again, this is a ministry of the Finance Office of the Dakotas Conference as well as the Dakotas United Methodist Foundation. And find more of our stuff on www.dakotasumc.org. And I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. And I always value your comments as well. God bless you.